right, welcome back to another episode of Sessions with Mary Jane. I'm your host, Jordan Freed, and I'm in fact fried. I did not get a lot of sleep last night, and now I am here. And I am just so blessed to be here at the Gotham production studio with a very great friend of mine. Welcome to the show, our first repeat offender besides our hosts. The host of the Ashlee and Jessicast on all podcasting platforms. A very illustrious actress as well, Lia Russo.
Thank you, Jordan.
Welcome back.
So happy this podcast is back.
It is back. Yeah, I just wanted to get it going again, especially since leaving the Williams Center and having a little bit more time on my hands. Yeah, it's awesome. Just come here and record, and it's dope on days that I have comedy shows at night because I can't do an acting job or something like that. So it's kind of like two birds, one stone kind of a thing. Yeah. So what have you been up to? A lot has changed since the last time you were on the podcast.
When was that?
That was probably 4 years ago.
What?
Right? It was probably one of the original episodes.
It was one of the first episodes, I think. Well, Brendan still lived here, so let's start there. That was
yeah.
That was a while ago now.
Yeah, he did live here.
Yeah.
That is sad to think about. But he will be on the next circuit break.
Thank God.
At the Cryout Cave, August, I think 16th.
August 16th. Okay.
The third Wednesday of the month. So do the math yourself. Look at a calendar and just count 3.
Oh my gosh. I think I will be able to make that one.
Oh,
I was so sad I couldn't be at the last one. So if it's August 16th, I will be here and I'll be working that day. So I'll have the whole weekend blocked off. So
nice.
I would love to, because I remember when you guys did the first ever circuit break, which was so innovative and creative, and I just loved it so much. So I'm excited to see, because that must have been 2018 or 19.
It was, I think, April of 2019. Yeah.
Then we did the second one where I was where was a Bond girl.
Was that one of the Julia Child sketches?
Yes.
Were you in the Julia Child joint?
Oh my God. If anyone watching has not seen Rena as Julia Child, that's an experience. We need to bring her back. Is she coming back?
She did all the sketches, in circuit break.
No, I mean, is Julia, I know Rena's coming back, but is Julia coming back?
I don't want to spoil anything. There may be some things in the works.
Okay.
That's definitely Rena's news to give to the world.
Got it.
You know? Maybe there's going to be a Julia Child audiobook. Maybe there's going to be a Netflix series about Julia Child. We don't really know.
Please,
I
need it.
Just stay tuned for some big Julia Child news, Rena style.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
So you were a podcaster when you came on last time, because we had a movie podcast together, Movie Cinema Film.
Yeah.
You could look that up on every platform.
Yeah, if you want to hear about a movie that came out in 2019... It's
the best 2019 movie podcast that ever existed.
Ever. It was really fun.
It was a good run. I had a lot of fun with it. I definitely like talking about movies, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about movies tonight, or this morning. Yeah, it's not a tonight. It feels like tonight because I only slept an hour and a half last night. I
don't even know. Sleep is not even, I don't even try to sleep anymore, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's too crazy.
But yeah, I feel like we should just hop into your podcast, because that is the big news and the big change since the last time you were on the show. And now your podcast is 1 year running, 2 years running. Is it 4 years running? How long has it been running for?
In October, it will be 5 years.
5 years. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it's gotten a lot more popular this year, 2025, I would say. From late 2020 till 2024, I had a nice community, a smaller community, small group on Patreon, but loved it. It's more of a passion project, so I wasn't I have to have 1 million followers or I have to have 100,000, downloads per week or anything like that. It was just something that, I mean, me, like I'm very overtly passionate about things. Like I'm very rarely casual about anything. It's either I'm obsessed or I literally can't even listen to it for 2 seconds. Like I'm either in it or not. And so I just started it because I needed an outlet to talk about pop culture. And at first I started it about Jessica and Ashlee Simpson. And I did that for like a year. So that's why it's called the Ashlee and Jessicast. But I kept the name even after I expanded to other topics as well, because I think that like for millennials and for people that are into pop culture, if you hear that, you automatically are going to know what it is, especially if you see the spelling of Ashlee, which is Ashlee instead of like the usual EY. And immediately people are like, oh, like I know what that is, So I started out by just talking about their reality shows, music, and after about a year, I just expanded to any pop culture topic. So Jess and Ashlee are still kind of like the cornerstone of the podcast. Like I come back to them every time they have something happening, which this year they both have come back to music. So that's kind of why,
oh wow,
one of the reasons why it's gotten more popular this year. But I just cover whatever I want. So I do these different series. So sometimes I'll do like, I just did a 9-part series on Aaliyah. I just posted the last episode last night. And so I'll do those multi-part series that are like very in-depth and, take forever and require so much research. But I love how they come out and people always really love them because I usually go into more detail than most people. Like, especially with Aaliyah, I've noticed that because of what happened to her, a lot of people will, if they're covering her on a podcast, they'll do like a speed round of her albums and her career and then like an hour on her death. And I'm like, her death was the least interesting thing that she did. So, I mean, that's not, I mean, imagine if that happened to you and like it's all people can focus on. That's so annoying. It's like, I didn't want that to happen to me. It's like, why? So I really wanted to cover her because she was such an influential artist. There are so many like female R&B singers that would not be the same without her. And she just made such an impact on people, such a huge impact on the Black community, like young Black girls growing up in the 90s. And so I just wanted to cover all of that in depth. And I think that's not really what people would expect from a podcast that started about like, oh, let's talk about Jessica and Ashlee's reality shows and music. But I love those in-depth series. Like if I saw someone did a 20-part series on something that I was interested in, I would be so excited. But then I'll also do like one-off episodes here and there of other pop culture topics. And that's just something a little, shorter that people can get into if they're not into like a whole series. And then I also cover whatever Jess and Ashlee are doing. Plus I have my Patreon. And then my Instagram has like definitely popped off this year. Like I have gotten so much more attention, like a much bigger following even than I had like a year ago. It's like not comparable. So now like the Instagram is a big project because I'm constantly posting clips from that era. So like I call it 90s Y2K and today. So there are people that don't even listen to the podcast, but they're like, I love your Instagram because I log on and I know I'm going to see something from childhood that I haven't seen in 20 years. And it just like makes me happy. So I feel like that's my contribution to society is just like, look at this clip of Jessica Alba on Punk'd and laugh and then move on with your day.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the craziest thing you have found out from your research? Like the most surprising thing from the podcast research?
About Aaliyah or like in general?
About anybody so far in the 5 years. What was like the thing that shocked you the most?
So many things, but I did a series.
You could have like a couple honorable mentions.
Okay. The first thing I thought of was I did a series on Macaulay Culkin over the holidays, and his father, like I knew that his father was a stage father, but there's a lot of people that are stage parents, but they're not like abusive, right? Like you could argue that just being a stage parent is a form of abuse, but there are some stage parents that genuinely mean well. They're not going to push their kid too far if their kid wants to stop. It's like their kid said, I want to sing and dance. And they're like, okay, I'll take you on some auditions. And then it goes from there. But the father of Macaulay, Kieran, and Rory Culkin was like a psycho. I mean, he terrorized Hollywood. Like because Macaulay had the kind of success with Home Alone that literally doesn't happen anymore. Like, I don't know what will happen with TikTok or other mediums, but as far as like Hollywood, like traditional Hollywood, he is still the most successful, highest paid child star of all time. And I think people really don't understand, like, because I wasn't, alive when he was really, like, huge, or I was, like, a baby. But I think people today, like, younger people today, like, can't imagine a child star of this magnitude, even with Disney and Nickelodeon. Like, he wasn't the difference between him and them is, like, they were, like, Disney, Nickelodeon child stars, right? Like, and he was, like, a movie star. Like, he was compared at the time to, like, Mel Gibson and, like, people like that. Like, and paid around the same amount. Like, it's crazy. So his dad used that as leverage against people. So if Macaulay wanted to do this, or Macaulay didn't really want to do movies, honestly, after, like, the first few, he was over it. If Kit wanted him to do a movie and the studio was like, oh, sorry, we cast somebody already, like, we'll keep an eye out for something else for him, Kit would be like, okay, so if you don't put him in this, then he's not doing Home Alone 2. And then suddenly everyone panics and is like, goodbye to the other actor. And this is what happened with this movie, The Good Son.
Oh, wow.
And that's only one of many things. Another thing is, like, when Macaulay hosted SNL, he was 11. And the musical guest was Tin Man, which is David Bowie's band. And it was, like, the best era of SNL with, like, Chris Farley, Chris Rock, Mike Myers, like, all those people. And on SNL, I think most people in showbiz know they use cue cards because you're developing a show in less than a week. And it doesn't really make sense to make the actors memorize every single line the way you would for most shows because they might change it last minute. They might cut the sketch, add a new sketch, cut lines, add lines, literally minutes before they go on, right? So you're not expected to memorize everything. And that's why when you watch SNL, a lot of the time, like, if I'm talking to you in the scene, the person will be, like, I'll actually be, like, looking past you, right? Because I'm looking at the cue card. And so even though he was only 11 years old, and this is what every actor, every Oscar-winning actor, everybody on SNL does, Kit was like, you're an actor and you're going to learn those lines. So he did not let Macaulay use cue cards. He's the only person, and Macaulay said that he's asked people at SNL to this day, has anyone else ever done that? And they say, we've never heard of anybody else doing that. So not only did Macaulay not use the cue cards, but no one else could use them. So the whole cast had to work twice as hard, memorize everything because of him. And he's actually said that he has gone around showbiz over the years and just apologized to people. Like, he'll run into someone and be like, oh my God, like, you're that producer that my dad, like, threatened. I'm so sorry, and of course they're like, it wasn't you, you were freaking 10. But he would ask his father, he'd be like, when can I take a break? Like, I don't want to do any more movies. Like, I just want to have, like, a normal summer with friends and, not do another movie. And, like, I'm tired. And his dad would be like, okay, after this one, we're good, like, no problem, sport. Like, we're going to have a break for you. And then, like, a week later, he would come in and just be like, congratulations, we're doing another movie. We're flying to Chicago in 3 weeks. And Macaulay would be like, wait, but I asked for a break and you said we were going on a break. And, it kept going and going until finally Macaulay was 14 when he retired, which he eventually came back. But, he's such an interesting case to me because he literally made the majority of his income when he was like 9, 10, 11, 12. So he can live off of that. So he kind of now lives this really cool bohemian.
He's one of the only people who probably gets paid off of residuals too.
He gets a lot from residuals. Yeah, he's probably one of the highest.
It's quiet for
paid.
Like 3/4 of the year, and then all of a sudden the fall check kicks in. And he's just making
honestly, I'm
millions
sure
of dollars off of residuals. That shit plays everywhere.
Yeah. Well, one thing people don't realize about Home Alone is that not only was it like this iconic movie that we all know it stayed in theaters until the summer of the next year. People were continuing to go back to see it in June, in July. This is a Christmas movie. That's how much this captivated a nation. That's why I'm saying, like, that doesn't happen anymore. Like, it happened with Titanic as well. Titanic was in theaters for almost a year. But, with today, something's in theaters for 2 weeks, then 2 weeks later we get it on streaming, and then everyone forgets about it forever unless it's, like, one of the 10 movies that people care about. So it's just a different time, and he specifically just had a really crazy, interesting life. And there's like 5 more stories like that about Kit. Like he was just constantly doing that. And as soon as their parents split up, none of the Culkins talk to them anymore. Like I don't know about because he has other siblings that aren't actors, but you know, as of like, I think it was like 2020 was the last time Macaulay talked about it, and he was like, yeah, I've never talked to him like since that day, since I was 14, because it was just he was just abusive, you know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, it seems like it's an effed up. It was an effed up situation for sure, but it made very good actors. Not to say it's good, but
brilliant. I mean, they're brilliant. I saw Kieran in Glengarry Glen Ross.
I also did. It was amazing.
Yes. What did you think of it? Give me some thoughts.
I had never seen the movie, so I was just going into it and knew all of the leads and was a fan of all of the leads. So I was just like, yes, this would be a fun thing to do for my birthday. And yeah, it was just amazing, like seeing Bob Odenkirk, Bill Burr, like Kieran Culkin, like I'm sure he's gonna have a long career. That's very that has a lot more movies on that lineup, but I feel like I definitely like seeing him in that was like kind of at the peak of his powers right now, because he's just coming off the Oscar and the Emmy wins, and just like, yeah, he's very iconic. And like, as an improviser and comedy sketch person, Bob Odenkirk is obviously, well, we both have crushes on Bob Odenkirk.
He's like my celebrity crush. I feel like people expect me to be like, I love Chris Evans, and I'm like, you ever see Better Call Saul? I'm like, that's my man.
You got to go Mr. Show.
When I met him after the show, I was too nervous to ask him for a photo. And I have photos with like A-list, like big celebrities, and I have such a crush on him. Like he signed my playbill, and I just basically said hi to him, and I was too shy.
Yeah, he is that type of person. He's
so
He's like been on my TV so many times.
He has such a presence. Like he is such a talented person, but I feel like he just has that thing. Like he has that thing that you want to watch, and he's just like so dynamic in every role. And I cannot wait for Nobody 2. Did you see that's coming out?
Oh yeah, I did see it's coming out. Nobody 1, very good.
So good. So good. And I mean, I already had a crush on him, but after that movie, I was like, oh, this is a pro. I was like, I don't even think I should be in the same room as him at this Broadway show. Who knows what's going to happen? But I was able to control myself. I behaved, so that was good.
Wow. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
You didn't jump on Bob Odenkirk.
No. And I didn't even bother him for a photo, so yeah. Wow. If you ever get divorced, call me.
Speaking of comedic geniuses, we had a little homework for this podcast.
Oh,
self-imposed homework.
Right.
I watched The Dukes of Hazzard.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
It is great for what it is.
Yeah, it's not my favorite movie. I never even would have seen it if Jessica wasn't in it, to be honest.
It's like that era of like 2000s comedies where it's just like consent culture is bad. Like it is there's just like that genre of comedy that you're just like, I guess that's what a sex comedy is, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, just very funny, crude humor, and like, yeah, it's cool to see the jackass guy fucking
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah. Killing it in an acting role. Like, she's perfect, obviously. Like,
yeah.
Like that just makes the movie because it's her.
Yeah.
And she just looks the part and like acts the part, and it's amazing. And that's kind of the thing with like, I also wanted you to watch Employee of the Month because that was something I used to watch on Comedy Central. And very similar. Yeah. I guess that was what she was getting typecast as.
Yeah.
Just the hot blonde who is going to, I don't know, show us a different side of herself. That she's actually smart. That she's going to do something that's going to save our protagonist or something.
Yeah. I actually, like, overall as a movie, I probably like Employee of the Month more than Dukes of Hazzard.
More heartwarming.
Yeah, and I also think it's like funnier. Like it's more of a straight comedy, whereas Dukes of Hazzard is like an action comedy, and it's based on this TV show that I never watched. Like I had heard of Daisy Duke, but that I'd heard of it, but I've heard of the General Lee and all that kind of stuff, but I just watched it because Jessica was in it, and I think with that and with Employee of the Month and like all the movies she did, which wasn't that many more, but it's a shame because she's so funny, like naturally as a person, and I feel like in these movies she's just the girl. And, like, she does have some cute moments and some, like, especially with Daisy Duke, where she is outsmarting all the guys. Like, she knows how hot she is and that they all, I mean, this is one of those movies that, like, it's like a hot girl walks in and all the men, like, just turn into the the biggest buffoons. Just, like, like, it gave me unrealistic expectations about, like, how goofy men are. Like, I mean, men can be really goofy around an attractive woman, but not to the point where they're like, they drop things and they trip and they, you know what I mean? It's like, okay. But yeah, it's just a shame because, like, when I was watching Employee of the Month this time, I hadn't seen it in years, and I was like, there's so many lines where she's just kind of like, okay, or like, yep, let's go on our date. And like, they don't give her a line. Like, they don't even give her a joke. They don't give her anything. And she's funny. Like, that's the thing that is kind of lame about it. And I think one of the reasons why actually, you said you want to talk about Tony Romo, who she dated.
That was a very transformative Jessica Simpson memory. Yeah, that was like a very big memory, yeah. Because obviously just getting into football around that time and then she's just there. Mm-hmm. Like she was kind of like that during the Employee of the Month era, like it was like she was kind of at the peak of pop culture and then Dane Cook was also at the peak of pop culture. Yeah. And then they made a very mid-movie.
Right. Right. And that is actually one of the reasons why she didn't do movies anymore, is because when she was with Tony, he was like a very traditional old school guy, and he kind of wanted her to be a typical wag and just be like, supporting him. And, to me, I'm like, are you stupid? Like, it's Jessica Simpson. If you want a stay-at-home mom, go to a regular place and meet a regular person. But he actually told her, I don't want you kissing any men or doing any love scenes at all. Wow. And she was like, oh, well, I'm always like the lead girl that has a boyfriend or is dating or something. Like, I'm the romantic lead. How can I not do anything, And so he really complicated that for her. And, I mean, she's sweeter than me. The second I heard that, I would have been like, you're crazy and I have to leave because it's obviously just a job. But she tried to appease him for a while, and then her collection, because now she still does music, but she is most known, I think, for her fashion line, and that's what's been so successful. Like, the company was valued at over $1 billion a few years back, so she was just like so busy with that she just kind of let the acting career taper off. But I think if she had gotten, like, honestly, I think her being so gorgeous hurt her movie career, because I think it was just like people couldn't see her as anything other than like, what? She's so beautiful. And so they didn't give her any good lines. But if you watch her on Newlyweds, her reality show, like, she doesn't have any, like, she's not given lines. She's just sitting there being herself, and she's so funny. And that's really what made people fall in love with her, because she had a few albums out before then, and she was a pop star, but she had success and everything. She sold millions of albums, but that was in the era where, it was like if Britney sold 20 million, Jessica sold like 4 million or something. So it wasn't as big as some of the others at the time. So then when she came out with her reality show, that was what made her a superstar. Like, before, she was kind of like, I mean, I think in her book she said, we were like, her and Nick Lachey from 98 Degrees, we were like, C-list boy band and pop star, and then they did the show, and she became this like huge A-list celebrity, and it was because people fell in love with her personality and who she was. And she had gone through all this trouble with her record label because they constantly wanted her to be more like Britney, and they were like, lose more weight, even though she was never even like a little heavy. Not that you can't be heavy and be a pop star, but that's the problem with our world, right? It's like, even though this very skinny 17-year-old girl was perfect, they were like, well, you should have, Tommy Mottola was like, you should have Janet Jackson abs, and like drove her crazy. And then when she had success with Newlyweds, she was like, oh my God, all I ever had to do was just be myself. Like, people like me more when I'm just sitting here in like pajamas talking about silly stuff and like making ditzy comments. Like that's all I had to do this whole time to like reach that level of fame that they wanted me to have. So I think it was very validating for her. And then the movie career was just like, you're hot, stand there and look cute. And like they didn't really give her good lines or like funny jokes. I feel like she can handle that stuff, so it's kind of a shame.
Do you think she's going to make a return to acting? Is she still acting?
She hasn't acted in a really long time. But she has a cameo in the new Ryan Murphy series, the one about law.
Oh, interesting.
Which stars, I don't know if you know this, extremely illustrious, critically acclaimed, award-winning actress called Kim Kardashian. She's the lead. So,
really?
So I'm not super excited about that show, but but Kim and Jessica are actually friends because their daughters are best friends. So I don't know if it was Kim that brought Jessica in, but she has like a little cameo. But I think she just did that for fun. I don't think she's actually trying to pursue acting. She's been developing more behind the scenes stuff. Like she wants to develop her autobiography, which was like a really big success. It was like a success beyond just people that were like, oh, I like Jessica and I want to read about that. Like it's kind of known in the world of memoirs as like a really good one. So
she's gonna have to cast somebody to play herself.
Yeah, because they want to do like her whole life. So obviously, she can't play herself at like 17. So
who are you casting?
It's hard to say because I don't know like how they're gonna do it.
It's all timing as well.
It is timing.
The age has to work right.
And they had a series that they were doing with John Stamos and this other, I can't remember the actress's name that was playing the Jessica character, but they changed her story. Like it wasn't her real story. It was more like A Star is Born. And so it didn't make it to, well, it was supposed to be on Amazon. It didn't make it. They ended up cutting it. And as much as I love Jessica, I was like, I'm honest with my listeners. So like with anybody that I'm a fan of, like I'm not just going to say that everything they do is great. Like I was vocal about that being not what I personally wanted. I'm like, they should tell the actual story of her life from her book. Like it was very different from that. So I don't know what direction they're going to go with it now, but I hope that they go in the more like faithful to the book direction. And then she's also trying to develop a docu-series. Like I know she's been working on that for a while. So it's more like behind the scenes for her when it comes to film and TV. And she just came back to music. So I'm actually seeing her in a few days at the Today Show. So that's going to be exciting.
Oh, wow. That'll be really fun. Mm-hmm. Nice and hot.
Well, I'm excited because I'm now a partner of the Jessica Simpson collection.
Okay.
So I'm going like as a partner. I'm not going to have to, as a fan, I have waited in so many lines. I have over so many hours. I have gotten to so mmany places way too early and stood on the street. And finally, I'm like, wow, I finally don't have to do that. So me and my friend Derek, we're going to go and support Jessica and get to see her, which I haven't seen her since 2020. So I'm really excited just to see her because she's been very like active with my podcast. Like she'll talk to me on Instagram and like my posts and support, so it's really, really cool. So I'm really excited.
Word.
Yeah.
Wait, you said that was tomorrow?
No, it's Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So when you guys are listening to this episode, it already happened, and I'm sure it was fabulous.
Yes.
Give a review of the concert at the Today Show.
It was the best concert I've ever seen. I was verklempt the whole time, and I think we're going straight to the Grammys.
That's amazing. Wow, I'm glad you had a great time.
Yeah.
What do you think about the death of tabloid magazines?
Well, it just...
Because that was like a huge thing in our childhood.
Yes.
I feel like just going to the supermarket. Because like, obviously like I wasn't seeking out celebrity stuff because my parents weren't like digging into that. And I wasn't like, it was all about like sports and shit. I feel like growing up with me. But I feel like my mom would like leave on shit that would like trip into Access Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that would be when I would just be sitting there like watching Access Hollywood or going to the supermarket and seeing the craziest shit on the tabloids that they can lie? Are they all just blind items? Like, tabloids just lie completely?
Yeah.
They could just do whatever and just say somebody gave them a tip and they have to protect their source.
And that's crazy because a lot of people do think, I mean, tabloids still exist. It's just not as big as it was, but people still like will see something and think it's real. And I just think that's so crazy. Like, I remember when Britney Spears was going through like her really rough time, my cousin who was 5 years older than me, like, she came to me and she was like, you know, she was like, I just realized that, like, the stuff, like, that's in the magazines about her, like, that's not true. Like, she's like, they just make that up. And I'm like, you thought that was true this whole time? Like, no wonder why she's losing her mind. I mean, come on. Like, it's crazy that they can just write anything. And the thing now, though, is I think it's actually worse because the only thing that has improved is paparazzi. So I think a lot of people remember from that era, like, Britney and Lindsay Lohan and a lot of other celebrities, like, of that ilk. The stalking by the paparazzi and the, like, I mean, it was, like, abusive. They couldn't move. They couldn't walk down the street. They need security everywhere. I think that's gotten better because with social media, it's like you're not as desperate to see a celebrity. You can just literally go on their Instagram and it's like, oh, they had pasta for dinner last night and there's their dog and there's their house and oh, look at their kid. It's so cute. Like, when I was little, we couldn't, like, we had no access to celebrities at all unless we bought a magazine or we watched, like, one of those shows, you know? So now celebrities are more accessible and it's more about being relatable. And back then it was more like, I feel like celebrities we put them like on more of a pedestal. And now the thing that I'm noticing, like being someone who is kind of like a pop culture reporter or like a purveyor of pop culture, it's like I get a lot of people that think everything is fake. Like they think everything is fake. Like, all celebrities are fake all the time. They've all sold their soul to the devil. It's all just a ruse. Like, nobody is real. Everything. And sometimes I have people that'll be really rude to me and, you know, they'll be like, that's all a lie. Like, they're just selling you that and you're dumb enough to believe it. And I'm like, well, I think with celebrities, it's the same as any group of people. There's some people that are very authentic and kind of shy away from all that stuff. There's some people that are total fame whores and are doing everything fake and everything you see is fake. But then there's this large group in between that are, you know, sometimes they're on this side, sometimes they're on that side. Like, everybody's different. You know what I mean? And you can exist in the world of showbiz without doing everything completely and authentically, I think. And I think one of the things that people love about my podcast is that I'll break stuff like that down. Like, I'll say, here is something that was on Newlyweds, Jessica's show, that was fake. Like, but most of it was real. But then there are some scenes where they like put in lines that they didn't actually say, or they edited a certain way. Because being so obsessed with this stuff my whole life, I'm able to like debunk things, and people find that really interesting, like that kind of behind the scenes stuff of like what's real and what isn't real. But there's this kind of like anti-celebrity culture now that I've noticed. Because one thing that I think is funny is like I get hundreds of comments on my Instagram every day. And some people are...
Who is this? No.
What?
No. I was wondering if that's what the comment is. When you're showing, like, a clip of Jessica Simpson, they're like, who is that?
Right. Well, that's the thing is, like, there's people that act like they are so anti-celebrity culture, and they, like, it's all fake, and they're all just, you know, that's bullshit. Like, they aren't... Like, those aren't people that you should look up to. All celebrities, and let's just generalize. All celebrities, you should never look up to them. You know, that's nonsense, right? And then I'm like... And yet here you are on my Instagram, which is all about pop culture, you know? And I just think it's funny, like, that people, even when they say that, because the people that are genuinely not interested, they're just not interested. They'll be like, oh, I've never even heard that album, or I don't even know that person. But then there's people that act like they're not, but they are like secretly obsessed with it because, you know, I see them engaging with my account and I'm like, well, thanks for the engagement, even though you're like being a total asshole, but whatever, because the more people that are on your account and posting comments, liking, sharing, whatever, even if they're doing it in a negative way, it just helps your account, which then helps me get more listeners. And I love my listeners because I feel like my podcast is kind of like my way of letting my freak flag fly about the stuff I'm obsessed with. Because even though we're talking about tabloid culture, it's not really about that. Like, I really am like, a fangirl. Like, I embrace that. Like, I'm not ashamed of that. I don't think it's silly. I'm like, no, these are artists that have impacted my life. So to me, I want to talk about them, and I want to talk about them respectfully. So I don't really do the gossip stuff. You know, Jessica announced in January that she's getting a divorce, and people were like, where's the episode on the divorce? And I was like, I would never do that. That's rude to me. Like, I mean, first of all, she's been super nice to me. So even on that level, I'm just like, person to person, I don't want to, like, I would hate it if she opened, you know, because she follows me and everything, if she opened and she saw a picture of her and her estranged husband and it was like, Jessica's divorce, all the tea. Like, you have to think of that. Like, people don't think of them as actual human beings. They just think of them as like, oh, they're just celebrities and they're rich and they're in their mansions, so I could say whatever, they're fine. And it's like, they're people. Like, look at what happened to somebody like Britney. Look at Amanda Bynes. There are many cases like this, right? So, you know, I don't want to contribute to anybody's suffering, especially somebody that I am so happy that they made the stuff that they made that has then impacted my life. So why would I want to do something like that? And I don't look down on the podcasts that do gossip or blind items or anything like that. Like, there's a whole audience for that, and that's a great thing. But that's just not what I do. So I'll talk about, like, I did talk about her divorce because she wrote about it on her album. She came out with this EP called Nashville Canyon, and she wrote about her divorce. Like, she wrote lyrics about how her husband cheated on her. So then I talked about it because I was like, she's writing these lyrics. So in my opinion, if I'm talking about her music, obviously I have to address, it's very clear. Like, it's not, these are not metaphors. It's like, he cheated. So then I broke down the lyrics and I talked about it because then I felt okay with it because it was like connected to the art.
Yeah.
But if she hadn't done that and she just put out some fun pop song, I wouldn't have said shit. So some people don't like that because they're like, oh, you know, you're like, I don't know, like simping or something. And I'm like, yeah, I am, because I love her. Like, I love the people that I cover.
Yeah.
Not that I would never just cover somebody that I'm not into. Like, I would cover a public figure if I thought they had a really interesting story that I could add a certain perspective to that maybe people haven't heard before. But in general, like, everything that I cover is something that I really love. Like, I actually engage with it, and I'm not, whereas I think a lot of other people, especially like some of the bigger pop culture commentators on TikTok and stuff, it's like, whatever is the news that day, they'll get on and they'll talk about it and they'll have an opinion on it. And for me, I know that if I did that, I would have more of a following, but I can't, like, if I don't care about something, I just don't care about it. So I can't really do that. So I just feel like my podcast is more in the sphere of like, let's celebrate these very people that I think are special in the industry, because there are so many people in the industry that I don't think are that special. And I'm like, I don't know why you're famous. So let's celebrate the people that actually have really impacted like my generation, which is like, you know, we grew up in like the Y2K era. So I usually stick to that era, but
also the internet's hard. I feel like you could always rub people the wrong way.
It's
and
terrible.
Like people can misunderstand you. So I feel like it's almost always better to just comment on things that you know really, 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 really well. Because, like, otherwise, yeah, people are just, they either don't care or it's just, like, not effective.
That's so accurate. People don't care. They don't care about what's true. So, like, anything that they hear, especially if they hear it over and over again, they'll just believe it. And I hate to be the person that's like, well, actually, you're wrong. But like, sometimes people will talk to me about stuff and they're like, well, you know, because of this, like, whatever. And I'm like, oh, that actually never happened. I know it's like a really common rumor and you've heard it a lot, but if you actually like look it up, and people don't do that. They don't want to look things up. They don't want to read. And so it's just, I think it's like almost worse than tabloid culture, because at least tabloids, like, a lot of people were like, oh, like, that's bullshit. But there's a lot of stuff that people just kind of like talk about online. One of my favorite misconceptions that people insist on, and they are like so insistent that it's true, is that Jennifer Lopez doesn't sing her own songs on her albums, which is completely false. It's 100% false. The reason that people think that is because on her choruses, they often mix the background singers over her, which I think is actually an interesting choice, because the verses are her singing, you know, mostly by herself, and, you know, like, there's nothing fake about it. It's her. And then on the choruses, sometimes you'll hear like other voices, and I always thought that was cool because it kind of gives like a diverse sound to the music. And these background singers are credited. Like, it's never been a secret, but a few years ago, people acted like this big secret was getting exposed, that J-Lo doesn't sing her own songs. And she isn't the most strong singer. Like, I think that is a big contributor to it, because sometimes she tries to sing live a lot, and sometimes when she sings live, she sounds great. And sometimes when she sings live, it's rickety. So
it's tough to do it for an entire tour. Like,
yeah, especially with the way she's dancing.
Yeah, and she's like a dancer.
That's her thing, is she's a dancer. Yeah, so I think people just hear that over and over again. And I'm like, if you actually do research, like, these background singers have come out and been like, yeah, like, we recorded with J-Lo like any other background singer would for an album. Like, everyone has background singers. I mean, sometimes what they'll do is they'll layer the artist's vocals multiple times, so they're their own background singers. But it's typical to have background singers. Like, that's, whatever. So people just say, like, oh, J-Lo doesn't sing her own songs. Like, there's people that actually walk around on this planet and think that her, like, big hits are not her voice. And she, in her videos and her tours, she's just lip syncing to somebody else. And it's just not true. But when I say things like that, sometimes people are like, well, you're just an obsessed fan. And I'm like, yeah, I do really like Jennifer Lopez. But if she does something wrong or she does something fake, like, I'll say that. I'm not, like, trying to be her best friend, but I also don't want to be, like, slanderous and gossipy, which I think, especially with TikTok, it's like you have to catch people in 2 seconds. So, it, like, someone, it'll be like, guess who has a drug problem, and it's like someone, like,
5 celebrities that have a drug problem.
Right. And it's like something that's not even really that serious or whatever, and I just don't, like, I'm not about clickbait.
They always start with a picture of the celebrity that is not involved in the story.
Right.
And then you're like, wait, what? I just watched the 5 people who are addicted to fentanyl in Hollywood, and the person who was the first person, John Travolta, was not the person.
Right.
Made me think it was John Travolta, who's trying to make a hit piece on John Travolta.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot, how it's like people could just use AI and, like, just edit fake videos and people just watch it because there's just so much content and people don't care if it's real or fake now. They're kind of just like, yeah, like, unless you're sitting down for, like, a movie or a Netflix show or something like that, I feel like people don't give a shit. Like, if it's on your screen like this, like, I feel like it's okay to be fake and not have any organic human flesh in it.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes people think that I'm like when I say, like, oh, J-Lo actually does sing her own songs, I think people think I'm being like, oh, I just love her so much that I want you to believe what I'm saying because I want you to love her too. And I'm like, I don't give a shit what you think about her, but if we're talking, like, factual information, like, this is just the case. I don't know what to tell you, So
people would rather believe the conspiracies.
Well, they want their own narrative, and that's something also that, like, what you're talking about with AI, like, Aaliyah obviously passed away in 2001, and there's supposed to be a new album coming out of her. And, of course, everybody knows that when you're recording an album, during her life, when she was recording her album, just like any other artist, you record a ton of tracks, and a lot of them don't make the album, but you want to have a lot to choose from, and then they go into the vault. And so some of those were already released posthumously, but now, all these years later, her label wants to put out a fully new Aaliyah album. And I think that a lot of the stuff they're trying to put out, like, they're trying to work on, is, like, rough demos and stuff like that, because she had this single come out called Poison with The Weeknd, which was, like, not good, like, especially when you heard her vocals compared to his, which were obviously newly recorded, and it was like, this is obviously from a rough demo. And so a lot of her fans are worried that it's just going to be like a fully AI album where they just put all of her recorded songs into a computer and then the computer sings for her. And we don't want that, especially because she was very authentic. Like, she went out of her way to be authentic and do new things and innovate in the music industry when other people weren't. Like, she would take the R&B sound that was popular and then work with certain producers and kind of turn it on its head and do a combination of, like, what was popular and then this new stuff that everyone would go crazy for. And so people are just in general, I'm against that type of album coming out. I'm okay with, like, if they have a song that's a little rough and they want to add like a word here and there or something, then fine. But like if it's not genuinely like a recording that she did while she was alive, people don't really want it. And it just feels like icky. It's just not, you know.
The Mac Miller stuff feels a little dirty sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I go back and forth because like the songs are so good, like the posthumous ones, and you're just listening to the songs and connecting with the songs and like feeling the place that he was at, like at these moments when like he was, I guess, at a dark place at some times, or but it was the producer just finishing the album.
Yeah.
And sometimes that does feel very much like, oh yeah, we got to make some more money. Like it's probably going mostly to his estate, so I'm sure that's good. They probably do wonderful things for the people of Pittsburgh by selling more music. Yeah, it's a shame Diddy killed him.
That's another thing, like the conspiracy theories around people's deaths.
Your podcast is probably kind of connected to Diddy, right? A lot of the not the direct people you cover.
Let's back it up.
No, I'm not saying the direct people you cover were at Diddy parties, but Diddy parties were biggest probably in this era, right? Or did Diddy parties start after your era of interest?
No, they got big during that era. The White Party, very famous. The thing is, like, look, I'm not defending Diddy at all. He's a horrible person, and I think he deserves to go to jail. But
disclaimer: she is not defending Diddy.
Never. But what I will say is that this is another thing that people take too far. So if a celebrity has any photo with Diddy from anywhere, right? It's like, I told you, like that, you know, like they're involved, and I'm like, you realize he was like one of the most famous people, one of the most successful people, both behind the scenes and on camera, and everyone want to take a picture with him because he's famous. I mean, some, like, you know, C-list reality star people want pictures with wherever they go. It's like, it's so annoying. I'm like, okay, so just because like someone has a picture with him at the VMAs and then a picture with him at the Grammys from 4 years later and then a picture of him 1 year later wherever, it's like, that doesn't mean they were involved in the Diddy parties, you know? And it's just annoying to me because I'm like, you can't, if you group in all these people, you're actually taking less focus. You're taking focus off of the actual people that were involved. For sure. Yeah. And it's just, there's so much noise. And it's like, you got to stop that because we have to put a focus on what actually happened. Okay? So it's just, it's like every celebrity, you know, same thing with like, I'll see someone, you know, there'll be someone trying to prove that like somebody's MAGA. And they'll be like, they'll show a picture of a celebrity with Donald Trump from like 2000. And I'm like, do you not understand, like, what was happening back then was so different? Like, and how can you, like, I would never want to be judged by someone I took a picture with once or even, like, twice or 3 times just, like, being in the industry. Like, it doesn't, you have no idea if that person supports them. And that's the only evidence that you have is, like, a picture from around, like, the Apprentice premiere. I'm like, that's not, he wasn't running for anything. Like, it's so stupid.
That is the crazy thing about phones, though. Is that we just document probably like 40 times more than we documented in the 90s or 2000s. Mm-hmm. Like, my parents would be like, oh, we got a digital camera. It's just in the drawer, like, most of the time. Like, they definitely got good pictures. Shout out my mom and dad for taking a lot of pictures and videos. But a lot of the times they would be like, oh, we don't even have it, you know?
Right.
So I feel like that's changed. So then, yeah, there's, like, the big controversy that is happening right now. The fucking CEO who was caught cheating with his HR person.
Oh, my God.
And it's just, like, everybody's making a huge deal about this. But I feel like this has already been covered. Like, I feel like this was a thing, like, in the 90s and 2000s, like, in pop culture, that people would be like, yeah, don't cheat.
Was there a cheating scandal in the 90s?
No, yeah, tons. But I mean, like, I feel like that's, like, a Seinfeldism or some shit. Like, I don't know. Because, like, I'm high right now. So, like, I'm not thinking of it off the top of my head. But I feel like there is something in pop culture that was like somebody on the Jumbotron cheating, or like the fact that you need consent to videotape people.
Yeah.
And that consent has slowly disappeared and been slipped into like the digital waiver forms and stuff like that. Because like people used to buy tickets over the phone or like buy tickets at a window. Like they didn't fill out a terms and condition. And it was like, yeah, you can't videotape people. That's private. But now I feel like you go out in public, you're going to get videotaped. And it's going to happen. Like celebrity or not celebrity. And
well, did you see that fake statement that was being circulated?
Oh, no.
Like people, again, this is the same thing we're talking about. There's a statement from that guy and it's fake. He didn't actually make the statement, but it's been circulated so much. Everyone's commenting on it, talking about it as if it's a real statement, and people are making fun of it because at the end, whoever wrote the statement, they put the lyrics to "Fix You." So of course, when people think it's real, they're like, "Oh my god, he's putting like those lyrics at the end of this, like that's so like what a loser!" Like, and it didn't happen, you know. So it's just funny.
It's
like,
gonna be AI.
People believe anything, like that. People just see something and they're like, "Oh, that's real." And my job, I feel like, with my podcast is I'm the one who actually looks it up. So it's like my listeners, that they're too lazy to look stuff up, at least they know that like what I say about it, they know I've actually looked it up. Not that I'm never wrong, but I think that my listeners trust me on some level where they're like, oh, she wouldn't be saying that if there wasn't some credibility behind it. And then I'll say also if something is like, I'm not sure and I've heard about it, but I'm not sure. I always say like, this is speculation or this is not confirmed, but I'm going to mention it anyway because I think it's relevant. But sometimes I'm like, why do I work so hard? I could just say anything and no one would care. That is like
the new tabloid.
No one would care.
It's just like making a post on social media with like no facts and just being like, oh yeah, like Michelle Obama has a penis. And just being like, whoa, you can't fact check it? You're not going to get her pants off? Like, I feel like that is the new tabloid, is like people just tweet stuff and then it gets retweeted because people are like, what? This is true? Like, are you serious? Like,
yeah. Well, what you were saying before about the internet just being like rough is so true. And like, I actually think that people, one thing that I think you have, if you're putting out anything on the internet, whether you're like a big celebrity or you're just like somebody like me that, you know, does a podcast and stuff, you just have to accept that you're not going to be understood. People are going to misunderstand you all the time. And as soon as they misunderstand you the first time, they're just going to be committed to misunderstanding you. So you can say anything.
Also, if Michelle Obama has a penis, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's fine.
I just wanted to not be misunderstood. Somebody's going to clip that and be like, wow, Jordan is so transphobic.
No, we support. If Michelle, whatever Michelle has going on, we support. It's fine.
But I do feel like it is made to be an attack because it is not like Michelle Obama is trans. She is a liberal icon. It's like Michelle Obama is trans. Like she's been living a lie in front of all of our eyes, and Obama is a fake. Like,
well, that's the thing too. Is like if I say something negative about Trump, sometimes people will be like, "Well, Hillary, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "Do you see me wearing a Hillary T-shirt? Like, I'm not obsessed with politicians like that. So like." I'm not, when I say something bad about Trump, I'm not trying to put Hillary on a pedestal. I'm just talking about this specific person. So it's like, what, you know, and it's always like some ridiculous thing, like you're saying, like, oh, Michelle Obama has a penis, or that they think that Hillary, like, that Hillary and a bunch of other celebrities, bleed children dry and drink their blood. And I'm like, no offense, like, Hillary looks pretty good, but like, she looks her age. I don't know, and because you know how they were saying like they drink children's blood to stay young and healthy, and I'm like, it's not like she looks like J-Lo. You know what I mean?
I think 1% of the things said about Hillary Clinton are true. I think there are probably thousands of negative things said against her, but 1% of those 1,000 things are true, and that's a lot of things. No,
it's crazy. I think like obviously politics is a different world, but even just being like an actor or a musician, like being famous, I think you trade so much more than you get. Like people think it's oh my god, they're in their mansions and they're so rich and so many people love them, and so they're not allowed to complain, they're not allowed to have problems. I would be complaining the house. Like I would be so stressed all the time, and like you really have to not care what people think. Like even just me, like having a podcast, like sometimes people, like, I'm fine if people disagree with me, but sometimes the messages I get, I'm like, oh, you have no idea, like, what the point of what I was saying
Yeah.
and you have no idea what I meant, and is it even worth it for me to sit here and like explain it? Because I think I explained it well the first time. So if you didn't get it the first time, I just have to accept that some people are just like, they don't care, and they're committed to not understanding.
That is very true. And there's some things in this world that we don't understand. Like, we're getting to the end of the episode, unfortunately. Because I'm having such a good time.
I don't understand endings.
Yeah. But what specifically can our viewers at home follow you on? What would help you the most? What do you got in the works for August and September and beyond?
Well, they can follow me. My main platform is Instagram, so it's at Ashlee and Jessicast. And listen to the podcast. I cover a lot of different topics, like I said. So
and rate the podcast as well, 5 stars.
Rate it and review it.
That helps it a lot.
Yeah, only if you're doing 5 stars though. If you're not, then I don't know, go away.
Forget what we said.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the main thing I'm doing right now, because there's a lot of events coming up that I'm going to be covering this summer. So it's going to be really exciting for people that grew up in that era that love that. And now that I have a bigger following, I'm starting to get, like, obviously I have the partnership with Jessica, so you can use code Ashlee and Jessicast for 15% off any purchase, or no, not any purchase. I think you have to spend $100, then you get 15% off.
All this will be below in the description as well. So like, look through that description, go on the web browser, go through every single link, you know?
You can literally go to jessicasimpson.com/Ashlee and Jessicast, and then the code will just, like, I have my own page now, so the code will just be like applied. And so now I'm getting other opportunities, so I'm going to be able to cover like more live events and have access that maybe not every person that just has a ticket will have access to. So I'm going to be able to kind of give, like, my goal is to kind of do like, okay, I'm still a fangirl. Like, I'm not like in the VIP section, but like I'm maybe invited to a little bit more than you guys are. So I'm going to take you back with me and give you all the tea. So it's really fun.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for returning to Sessions with Mary Jane. This has been an amazing episode. Check out my tour dates and comedy shows in the description below. We're going to be back at Cryout Cave, I think, by the time this episode comes out. Probably the day of this episode coming out, maybe before. I don't really know yet.
Can't wait.
But check out Cryout Cave shows. We sold out the first one. It was awesome, and we'd love to see you there. Go to LNHstudios.com and click around. It helps our search engine optimization.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Leah. Follow her everywhere.
Thank you.
And we'll be back next week, Wednesday, sometime whenever I upload the episode.
That's tea. Whenever I get to it is when you'll get it.